Hey guys, how's it going? I was just hooking the mower up there so I could go mow some hay. Hopefully this will be, well, it might not be the last hay I do. After the alfalfa freezes, I might mow it. I'm just going to have a hard freeze on it before I can mow it. We have frosted here a couple of times, but I don't think it's enough to, it wasn't enough to stop the alfalfa from growing. Now, what I'm talking about is if you cut the alfalfa and then it frosts or freezes, while it's short, it can kill it. So if you wait until after the alfalfa freezes good and then, hold on a minute, change, put it in auto mode. Wait till it freezes good and then mow it. After it's gone dormant, it won't hurt it. So that's what I'm talking about. And I need some alfalfa. So I would like to get that cut. But anyway, right now I'm going to cut the field that we picked rocks in earlier this year. Actually, I've already mowed half of it and got it up about a week and a half ago, I think. Yeah. And now I'm going back to finish the rest of it. I had 2 other fields down when I went down there and mowed half of it. That's why I didn't mow it all. If I just had that one field to do, I would have mowed all of it. But I had 2 other fields that I needed to get done first, and then I had a little extra window of time that I thought, so I went down there and mowed half of that. And everything worked out to where I got it up just in time before the rain came again. Actually, I might have had one more day of sun. I probably could have got the rest of it up, but it's hard to judge. You know, the weather's hard to judge. Like right now, it looks like it's going to rain, but it's not supposed to do much. And even if it does, the hay that I'm getting ready to mow is going to be really green and it's not going to bother it. And it's supposed to be nice the next 3 or 4, actually 4 days. And possibly beyond. So, anyway, yesterday, I didn't have to, but I put a new hydraulic hose on this tractor. So one of the only things I've had to do to this tractor since I've had it. Over here, you see those hoses going up in the middle of the screen there? They go up to the loader. They go up there to the loader. One of those hoses down there was rubbing the fender. So every time I would turn the steering wheel, there's a metal plate that holds the fender on to the bracket, and it was rubbing the hoses. And I did not realize it. There is like a hose protector. I'd call it like a hose skirt or something. It's kind of like a woven fabric around the hoses. Well, that was on there, but it had slid up above where it was rubbing the hoses. So one hose was rubbing the fender, and it wore the rubber off the hose and it wore into the metal, and it broke some of the wires in the hose. And it probably would have been okay for a couple of years anyway, but I just didn't want it. I want all the hoses to be good and good shape. I don't want anything to blow out or anything when I'm in the middle of something. So I could have made my own hose to put on it. I had the fittings probably to do it, but I wanted a matching hose. I guess that's kind of terrible of me, I guess, but I wanted the hoses to all match and look the same. Our hoses look a little bit different and our crimps are a little bit different, so I ordered a hose from John Deere to put on it. It was like $125 I mean, they could have made me a hose there too, but it would have looked different also. So I ordered one from John Deere that, you know, was a factory replacement. It was like well, they told me 150, and But anyway, I got it for $125. I'll put it on there. But anyway, I got that problem solved. I zip tied them a little different, pulled the skirt back down over them and zip tied them good, and made sure the fender wasn't rubbing them no more. And then I also put this like plastic spiral protector around it down there in case it does get away from, get out there where it could possibly rub it again. So anyway, I done all that, and that's what else is that giving me trouble on this tractor. The radio speaker, one side of the speakers quit working, and I could reach in there and touch the wires and it would immediately come back working. And I took the radio out. I never did really figure out exactly what exact wire the problem was, but I figured out which harness I could wiggle and make it come on and off, and then I got it to where I could wiggle it and no more, it wouldn't shut off anymore. So that's one issue I've had with this tractor. The radio speakers, one hydraulic hose rub, and it's got 854 hours on it now. So I've been running it, but one other thing that I had happen to this tractor, and I don't know how I got on this subject of things happening to this tractor. I guess it's because of the hose, but I got an error code one day. I was baling hay, and the depth had got low. It got lower than I've ever let it get. Most of the time I keep it pretty full. It got down to like 2 bars left on the gauge out of I don't know, like 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 8 bars. It got down to 2, and I got an error code that said that the depth quality was low, and I needed to drain the tank and refill with fresh depth. Well, I could not find a drain plug on it, and the book did not show a drain plug. It said you could the book said remove drain plug if equipped, or siphon tank. Well, I couldn't find anything to siphon with. I couldn't find a drain plug, so I assumed that I was not equipped with a drain plug. And I needed to get to work. I had some more mowing to do, and I wanted to get after it, so I just went ahead and filled the tank completely full with brand new depth. And when I cranked the engine, the code was still there, and as I was backing out of the shop, the code went off, and it has not come back on since. So apparently the depth had gotten watered down or had gotten weak, maybe just from being in the tank for a while, because typically I just add a jug. If it gets down to about half, I'll add a jug, and you know, I don't know how long some of the depth has been in there. But anyway, it wasn't really an issue after I added some depth to it. So those are the only 3 things that I've had trouble with this tractor. All of them easily remedied by me. Anyway, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just letting y'all know that this has been a really good tractor so far. And 400 hours, 434 hours I've put on it. Those are the only things I've done to it. Somebody else put 420 hours on it before I got it, and I don't know, there wasn't any records that I know of anything done to it. But it's been a good tractor, pleased with it. I'd rather run it than any tractor we've got on the place. I would rather run this tractor than the Massey Ferguson, but the Massey Ferguson would probably be my second choice, maybe. The New Holland 6030 and the Massey Ferguson would be really close. The only reason I'd say the New Holland over the Massey would be it's got a little more power and a bigger tractor. It's not really any more comfortable, because the Massey Ferguson is a comfortable tractor. For a small tractor, for the price that it costs, which is very reasonable for what it is compared to everything else. I know some people think, oh my gosh, 64, 60, you know, basically, I think I got it for 60, but they're probably about 65,000 now for a 100 horsepower tractor. Really is not that bad. Really it isn't. I mean, this tractor here, well, I mean, if you get a John Deere comparable size, you're going to be probably 75 to 80,000, or maybe a little more than that. So, depending on what you get. If you get an R, you're going to be up close to 100,000. If you get a M, you're going to be, you know, in the 80,000 range. So, anyway, we are getting here. We are here at the site. You might recognize this place somewhat. I need to bush hog a little bit in some of these areas, but this here is one of the areas that I was rock picking and got good grass. And you remember, I run that old John Deere seed drill on this place, and it did a good job of getting some beautiful grass. Over here, something I have not mowed yet. Right here in front of me is where I had the lime piled up. You can actually still see some of the lime right there where I had it piled up. But you know, this is a big place right here. I'm going to start mowing right here where I'm at, and yeah, so it's probably about 12 acres left here that I got to mow out of 21 acres that I have here. And I am drinking coffee, so I tend to ramble on a lot when I drink coffee. I do that on purpose now. Before I start filming, I go get me some coffee. That way I'll be sure to talk and not be quiet. All right, so I'm gonna start. I've been having to do a lot of work to this mower too. I have to talk to y'all about that. All right, so I was just looking at this grass here. It does have some foxtail in it, and it's got some crabgrass in it, but it's, for the most part, it's pretty good. I didn't even mow it for hay. There's places it's not good, and there's places it's still got some weeds, even though I did spray it a couple of months ago with 2,4-D. But for the most part, it's pretty good. I did bush hog it for first cut, and I did not make hay on it. It had so much weeds in it. But this time I'm going to bale it. It's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. So, and I think it'll make enough to make it worth my while. It's not like it's trash. I mean, complete trash anyway. It's pretty good. So, anyway, let's get back in the tractor and keep mowing. Get the thing wound back up here. Alright, so the mower. The mower had a seal go out. That's what started everything, I believe. The seal went out in the shaft. See, on a New Holland mower, every gearbox, every head has its own gearbox and its own oil. And it has 3 seals. It has a top seal right under the head, and it has 2 seals on each side of it where the drive shaft goes in and comes out of it. And one of the seals had went bad on the 4th module from the very end, and it was letting water get in, and this seal was on the main drive shaft, not on the top, but on the main drive shaft. It was letting water get in. Now, the water was getting in between the modules there's a cast piece that is in between every module. The water was getting in between that, and then it was seeping into the gearbox and forcing the oil out, because the water goes to the bottom of the gearbox and forces the oil to rise up, and then it would just push all the oil out, and I would end up with a gearbox full of water instead of oil. And that has been happening during the course of the whole season. Every time I would check that gearbox, it would be full of water. I would drain it out, put new oil in it, run it 40 acres, check it, be full of water again. And I was just like, what in the world's going on? But anyway, I've been fighting that issue all summer, and there's 2 bearings in that module that has the shaft that's running through it. See, there's one common shaft that runs to each one. There's a shaft inside the module with a spline on each end, and then you have a shaft that goes from that module. It splines up into a module, goes from that module through an empty housing to the next module, and it has splines that spline into that module. Then there's a shaft inside that module which drives the head. Then it goes back outside, and there's another short shaft with splines that goes to the next module. So there's just one shaft going through all of them. Well, the shaft inside that module has 2 bearings it runs on. We'll call it the horizontal shaft that runs the whole length of the bar. And there's 2 bearings in each module that horizontal shaft runs through. Well, those bearings had gotten basically destroyed because of the water, so I had to end up taking the cutter bar out from under the machine and take the bolts loose that hold the cutter bar. Every module has these 2 bolts about this long that holds the module and the empty cavities that join the modules together, if that makes sense. Because there's an empty cavity about this long between each module to give them enough space to actually work. And I've had to take those bolts loose, and they're torqued at like 350 foot-pounds. And I had to take the module apart and new bearings in it. It's the first time I'd ever done it. So who knows if it's going to last. It comes with all these shims and everything, and I just had to kind of figure it out as I went, but I think it's going to be all right. I mean, I've done mowed several acres since I've done it, and it's still working. So hopefully it's working. I need to check the oil in it and make sure it ain't getting full of water again. I hadn't done that yet, but hopefully it's not. It's got brand new seals in it, and I'm fighting a problem. That one thing I hate about this mower, it likes to drag hay with it. If you ever get into the windrow that you mowed a little bit with the left corner of the machine, it will drag hay and make a big pile. I don't like it. Anyway, apparently mine's the only one that's ever done it, because the dealer's never heard of it. But anyway, so other than that, I keep having one of the rock guards keeps coming loose on the very end. I've done fixed the bolt that holds the end module. It's broken twice, it's broken twice this year. The bolt that holds the end module head on, and it has this little tower thing. I had a video of fixing that bolt, but it happened again, and I finally determined that the tower that bolts on top of that head was bent, and it had a wobble in it, and I think that's what was causing the bolt to come loose, and then it would break. So I had to end up buying a new tower to go on that. It was about $175, and but it runs true and it doesn't wobble. So hopefully that's took care of the bolt breaking issue for now. I've got plenty of Loctite on that bolt. They come with Loctite on, but I put some more on, and hopefully it won't come loose again and break stuff. But it's just been one thing after another with this mower. This is the first year I've ever had any issues with it. It's 9 years old. Never had to do anything to it other than I just change the oil in the gearboxes every year, about once a year. And that's it. But this year it's decided to go all to heck. So that's the story of this thing. But it's still mowing. I thought about updating it, but I don't know what to get that would be any better. I'm getting down to the last of the field. Well, I take that back. I got another spot up there I got to mow, but it's not a very big spot. So basically I'm getting down to the end, and for the most part it's pretty good. I'm not happy with all of it, but anyway, it is what it is. Next year it should be a lot better. I'll do some more weed control. I plan on putting some more lime on it this fall. I need to get about 40 more tons of lime to put on it, and that's going to help a lot. And fertilize it in the spring. Should be pretty good hay next time. This is the first time that I've properly mowed it with a disc bind, so you can see where I planted it really well. Just got to get it mowed, and it should clean up. Most of the time, once you start mowing something, it'll clean up a lot. You keep it mowed regularly. So y'all enjoyed the video and my ramblings about things that I've had to work on, and I probably should have filmed some of it, but I didn't. But anyway, maybe next time. We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one, and stay safe.